Hey guys, welcome back to Sky. This is lesson number 8. Today we're going to be going over sweet spot drills, which are going to definitely help for that first landing back and also down the track in the future. So let's get to it. Now, sweet spot drills are pretty simple, but they can help a lot, especially when it comes to recurrency. And also maybe you're having a little bit of trouble with your landings in general. So it's definitely worth using this exercise and practicing. Now, with the sweet spot drills, if you want to spend the entire jump working on them and practicing them, then I'd recommend a high hop and pop if it's possible to do it at your drop zone, or at the very least, a hop and pop from 6,000 feet or about 1,800 meters. Now, the exercise is pretty self-explanatory, but what we're trying to do is find that sweet spot when we flare so that we nail those landings. So with the drill, what we're wanting to do is in clear airspace, we fly at full drive in a straight line for about 7 seconds. 7 seconds on average is how long it takes your canopy to recover from any control input and return to our straight neutral flight. This is ideally what we're after for our final approach when landing. Now, we want to do our flare as if we're landing. So we're wanting to feel the point where the canopy stops descending and we level out. This is our sweet spot. There are a few ways to see if we're getting the sweet spot or if we're flaring too much or not enough. Too much is when the canopy pitches up and you swing in front of the leading edge or the nose of your canopy. You should also feel yourself go up and like the wing is behind you. If we do this during landing, we will climb and the result can be a hard landing as the canopy loses airspeed and either sinks in or tries to surge back towards the ground. Not enough is when the canopy doesn't pitch much and it continues to dive. You should feel that you haven't lost much airspeed, you're still diving, and the canopy will still be in front of you. If we do this during landing, then we're going to continue to descend and most likely have a hard landing. Also, important to remember is that we're flaring assertively and at a good speed. Too slow and the canopy is going to continue to sink and mush. It's not going to give that nice pop. Too fast and we're going to be stabbing, which means we're going to be flaring lower when it comes to landing, which is definitely unsafer, and we want to avoid that as much as possible. What we're after is the happy middle ground, and we can do that by looking up at our canopy during the exercise and get used to the feeling of when the canopy is in the position we're after. So during the exercise, we want to look up at our leading edge and we're trying to get in line with it. If we see the nose of the canopy goes behind us, then we've flared too much and have gone past our sweet spot. If we see the leading edge stays in front of us, then we haven't flared enough or made it to our sweet spot. So we're looking for leveling our wing and being in line with our leading edge. Once we get this, it means we're finding our sweet spot. Just be aware this technique is a guide and need to act as a reference for when we're hitting our sweet spot. We're all different sizes and on different canopies, so the position is going to vary slightly for all of us. And obviously we're not going to be staring straight up at our canopy when we come into land. What we're trying to do is associate that position with the feeling we're getting of hitting our sweet spot, hence why we're doing the exercise. Now, if you're doing a 2-stage flare, then you're also looking out for when the canopy loses speed and begins to sink. If you get that feeling, then you've held the sweet spot too long and haven't finished the flare soon enough. This can also mean you don't have any bottom end left, which will make it harder to get those nice stand-up landings. So you want to practice finding the sweet spot, holding it for the right amount of time, and finishing the flare. If you're doing a continuous flare or a 1-stage flare, then the sweet spot's going to be more of a continuous motion. There's nothing wrong with that. We can still do the exercise and we can still practice getting our flare at the right height, nice and smooth and at the right speed. A couple of other things you can make note of is how far down your hands go when finding the sweet spot and remembering that. Also looking forward and at the horizon and seeing how the picture changes and remembering that also. I'm making a note of it. Now, if you're doing a regular jump, a freefall jump, and you still want to practice these exercises, then it's a good idea to break off early and also open a little bit higher, just to give yourself that bit of extra time. Also, be aware to have a good look around to make sure there's no traffic and that you can do the exercises safely, and also that you're flying in the right direction and not flying off to Never Never Land. Now, for anyone experienced watching this, you might think that this is a bit irrelevant to you because you're not doing a straightened approach, but if you're doing a big turn, we can still go up to a high hop and pop and practice that turn. We're still trying to get familiar with where our sweet spot is when we're landing, and throughout our swoop and during all of our control inputs. And like we said previously, it's a good idea to dial it back and maybe don't go try and break that world distance record on jump 1. So just take it easy and be safe. Okay guys, bit of a disclaimer now, like this video is there to be a tool and obviously help, but it doesn't replace a canopy coach. So if you've never done a 2-stage flare and you're interested in trying it, now isn't the time. We recommend getting the coaching, going through the proper channels. It's going to be safer, you're going to learn much quicker, and it's going to be much more beneficial in the long run. Well, yeah, guys, that's it for lesson 8. Thanks for joining. Hopefully you get out there and practice those sweet spot drills. Be safe, and we'll see you next time for lesson 9.